Hello everyone, conservative white Christian male here. Hey, I just wanted to report on something that I saw. I was just going on my email account, and they always throw ads out there for different news snippets, and I rarely look at them, but one caught my eye today. And it's that the NRA calls for more regulation on bump stocks after Las Vegas massacre. And it very much annoys me to see something like this. The NRA is supposed to be protecting our rights. They take money from a lot of people to supposedly help protect the Second Amendment. And they issued a statement today which definitely shows that that's not their ultimate goal. This news report here says that they issued a statement that the National Rifle Association is calling on the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives to immediately review whether these devices comply with federal law. And the devices that they're talking about are devices that allow semi-automatic rifles to function like fully automatic ones, and saying that they need tougher regulation according to the NRA. Now, there are some things that we need to know. First off, the difference between automatic and semi-automatic. A semi-automatic rifle shoots one round for each pull of the trigger, whereas a fully automatic, once you pull that trigger, it continues to fire rounds until the trigger is released or ammunition runs out, or a jam or something like that. So really, the only way to make a semi-automatic perform like a fully automatic would be to fire more than one round with each trigger pull. So the thing is that a bump stock, it can allow you to fire faster, but it does not allow a firearm to function like a fully automatic. What it does is it uses a spring or something like that, and it actually bounces the rifle back and forth, which makes it very inaccurate for one thing. But it does allow you to fire a lot of ammunition very quickly. But what it does is it moves forward and backward. It moves the gun. So with your hand being still, it moves the gun back, which removes your finger from the trigger during the recoil phase. I don't know if it has weights in there or something to make it do the lopsided thing or what, but it actually makes the rifle move forward and backward to move the rifle against your finger. Instead of your finger like moving real quick to fire fast, la da 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 da, it moves the rifle around your finger is what it does. So it is still functioning as a semi-automatic. It's doing one shot per rifle pull, or per trigger pull. Pardon me. Actually, it is one shot per rifle pull if it's moving the whole rifle like that. But that's kind of a generalization of how those things work. But let's get to the meat of the issue here. Why would the NRA want something like that regulated? If we look at the Constitution, we know that we have a Second Amendment. And what does that Second Amendment say? It says, a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. Now, there's a lot of federal law that infringes upon this right, and they're allowing it to put up with it. Not only are they allowing it to put up with it, they're looking at a bureau. They're not a lawmaking group, are they? No, that's Congress, the House of Representatives and the Senate. They're the only ones who can write law. They're asking the BATF to interpret this law to see if it's legal. Why would you do that? They're not a part of the judicial branch, are they? To interpret laws? That's not their job. The NRA is really throwing us down the river. If you are a member of the NRA, you really should think about whether that's good or not. I personally will not give them a dime. They've already done things in the past with concealed carry and open carry that prove that they're willing to sell out one to try to get the other, and think that gives up some kind of right guarantee, and it doesn't. You can't be sacrificing anything. You got to fight it all. And the fact that there are federal laws out there doesn't mean that they're legal. If you read the Second Amendment, it says that this right shall not be infringed. So if they put a tax on there, you know, where I live, to get a concealed carry permit, they made it illegal in California here to even carry a gun, you know, whether it's loaded or unloaded or whatever, unless you get this permit. Well, it costs $106, $100 and something odd dollars just to file the paperwork for it, to request, hey, can I keep and bear this arm? Can I bear this arm? You know, you have to ask the county sheriff for the permission for that, and that's an infringement. It's a tax on it. Why should I have to pay to carry my own weapon to protect myself and my family? So that's an infringement upon itself, and they're fighting for these. So now that we know that that's what the Second Amendment says, let's go back down here. So the Ninth Amendment, real quick, just says that just because it's not listed here doesn't mean that it's not a right. It just verifies that there are other rights that aren't on this list, and we shouldn't consider that those are the only rights. But what I want to point out is the 10th Amendment, and it says that the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, which one of these powers delegated to the United States of the Constitution, let's see, what can they do for keeping bear arms? They cannot infringe upon it. Okay. So, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively, or to the people. So that means that the federal government really has no law, they cannot legally, according to the Constitution, write any law banning a gun or putting a tax on it, like a tax stamp, like you have to do for a fully automatic. So those are my points there. The NRA is really selling people out. They're misleading the population by thinking that something that you put on your semi-automatic rifle is going to make it fire like a fully automatic, and that's purely not the case. I don't know what their game is here, but you know, the thing is if we lose the Second Amendment right, all your other rights are gone. And you know, if you don't believe me, go look for a voter over in what's that place off of Spain that they were voting to do a referendum to separate from Spain. Carta, I can't think the name of it right off the top of my head. But they had their government people beating the daylights out of the people over there, breaking hands, fingers, kicking them. That's going to be us if we lose our weapons. And our weapons are not for sporting, they're not for hunting. Anybody who says that needs to be slapped across the face, because they don't know what they're talking about. They do not know what they're talking about. The reason we have the Second Amendment is to keep the government from overreaching. That's the whole reason that these first 10 amendments were put in there. The Bill of Rights was to prevent the federal government from taking over the rights of the states and the people. And we knew we needed a federal government to kind of work things through, but the states did not want to lose their power, and they knew that a federal government could become too powerful, and they put these in there for limitations. And people have been letting the federal government get away with it. We need to not do that. And the way to not do that is to read your frickin' Constitution and know what it is. And if you can't fight for it, then that means that you're fighting against it. And you know, I've taken an oath no fewer than 5 times to protect this thing against enemies, foreign and domestic. So it's very important to me. And I encourage you all to listen to this, to read the Constitution, to understand it, and to fight for what's right. I don't care if you like guns or not. There's not any rule that says you have to have a gun. But just because you don't want something doesn't mean you need to keep it from somebody else who has that freedom of self-protection and freedom from tyranny from the government, given by God. Given by God. Rights do not come from the government. Rights cannot be taken away from the government. It's as simple as that. If you're in the NRA, you should quit. If you're a part of the NRA, you should get out. If you're supporting the NRA through your advertisements, if you are endorsed by the NRA, I would definitely rethink that endorsement. Of course, you know, you're all free to do what you want. And It's just a character thing. If you have a character, you'll know what to do. Anyway, not my most pleasant video here, but that's it. Like, share, subscribe, please. And have a good day.